Methabo. Ngiyathemba nizokhumbula ukuthi phambilini ngake ngakhuluma ngemibuso emelene nomuntu. I would suggest that you go through, I think the last part that we dealt with there. Le ekhuluma nombango ukuhlakanipha, ifa lesihlakanipha. So go over that because what we are going to discuss now is very much tied to that. Now, we are trying to go through what is the black person, who is, and where does he come from, who he is. So it is quite important to also attend to this part of the battle of ideas, because we live in a world where ideas have been used to destroy us. Sometimes our own ideas, in fact, most times our own ideas have been used to destroy us. So let's get into that. It's vital for us to learn from the past. Yeah, something that we seem so hell-bent to not do. But it's very important that we really need to learn from the past. We are very hard at hearing when it comes to that part, because I'm not the only person, nor am I the first, nor the last person to say this. Black people need to learn from the past and learn very well, take lessons and apply. And stop making quotes and statues and all these things. I've said it before. I mean, if nihlulekile ukungilalela ngisaphila, don't even bother to mention my name in the posthumous thing. I am not interested in that thing that you do to others. Seniyabathanda manje ngoba sebefile. Bathule phansi manje, but anzange nibalalela inkathi besathunywe yini ukuthi nibalalele. We can list them. But again, this one speaks to a very painful reality of existence, where does black genius go? Do we not have the capacity to innovate? Nah. Are we people who have never had any idea? Because if you go through the sciences and whatever have you are going to be disappointed to find Uti we are not even mentioned anywhere there. No person that looks like us. I mean, you go from grade 1 to grade 12, you don't meet one maybe law or theory by a black person. You have to work hard to discover black genius. You have to work hard. But in reality, what you then discover is that no, actually, you have a lot of black people who have come in and invented things. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. They will tell you there are people who spend a great deal of time going through the lists of black inventors, especially those American ones, you know. So you find that there's a lot of black genius that has been going on, and it's not the fact that it's unappreciated, you know. That's not true. What has happened is that you have a bunch of people who are disorganized, who have no concept of their nationhood, you know, who have no concept of community, who have no, you know, even this one, you know, a very interesting discovery here, an invention by a black man. There's a guy called Garrett Morgan who invented the e-robot lele crosser, the three-light traffic signal system. You know, and there's also a black guy who Frederick McKinney Jones who invented the refrigerated trucks. That whole, you know, this one of our refrigerated trucks, entire food chains and supply chains survive on this, but you never hear about it. You know, so why does this happen? Are they jealous of us? Do they hate us? No, that's not it. What happens here is that you have no concept of your nationhood. And in your lack of concept of your nationhood, as a people in the race, you sit there and you expect other people who don't look like you to take you seriously. I mean, how childish do you have to be? You sit there, you refuse to organize yourselves along your commonalities. The most obvious one being the color of your skin. You refuse to organize yourselves and create communities and systems and all kinds of things that will protect and propagate your own selves, your own communities. It's very mind-boggling that we choose to do this. It's the most childish thing ever. So it stands to reason then that every time a black child has an idea, they will steal it. I mean, it's easy to steal things from black people because there has not been any record of any consequences. We have actively made it very normal for anyone to steal from our community. Angifuni ukuthi ijuleleke le imali and how much, how our money doesn't circulate. Yeah, that one. I guess it's stick your black genius. So to not even go back to the 1940s and 1920s, just here, the guy who invented the Please Call Me, an exceptional example of how black ideas are just free for all. And then black people sit and imagine that other people are going to be protecting our intellectual property for us. People will pay us what is due. People are going to be fair. People who don't look like us, really. I mean, what benefit is it for them to do so? I've said it before. The game here is not about racism. The game here is about survival. And the first rule of nature is self-preservation. So everybody's concerned about preserving themselves and surviving. The last thing in their mind that comes into their minds is that you are black. They don't. It's not that they don't care about it, but it's the last thing that comes into mind. The first thing that comes to them is, how do we survive? And chats. So ezinye ingane ziya-understand ukuthi umphakathi wazo is their responsibility. Abantu abafana nabo are family, and they go to the highest and the lowest of any lengths to make sure they will undermine anyone they will undermine. They will steal from anyone they need to steal from. They will abuse anyone that they need to abuse, so that their community can thrive. When a white person says, I'm doing this to feed my family, he's not meaning that he's not talking about his family, yeah. He's meaning that I'm taking this money back to my community. And his family is the community around him. All his friends and extended families. Thina sikubiza nge-black tax, bona they look at it as taking care of family. This is why they're able to have foundations and have all kinds of fundings and funds available for their children to explore soccer or rugby, and funding their schools, and you end up with the top level laboratories in schools that you sit there and you are jealous of, and you send your children to try and learn from their schools. They are able to take care of their kids and their community. They build them our old age homes, they build them our orphanages, they do all kinds of things. When they feel that, no, this government is not patching these potholes, they decide to take it upon themselves to go and buy tar and premix lapana to come in and of course they pay some black people to go and do it for them. But bottom line here is, the mentality game is shayile straight. We have this mentality of isolationism, and this is why we cannot protect our ideas, and this is why everything that we do is expected, it's going to be free by other people, because to them they're like, no, what are you going to do about it? Because we don't see you as a community, as in bone within Tlanganisana. So they can come in and just take my ideas and go and make money with them and not pay them. And when they try to fight, it's a fight they are going to have to do individually. And 9 out of 10 times they get away with it, because if you go against them, they come out as a community to defend this theft. And they make sure with the community able. We have a more community serious. You go to the judiciary system, you find they are a community there. You go to whatever system you go to, you'll find they are a community. And it's going to be you versus a bunch of white people and Indians and colors and what have you. And the best thing that other black people are going to do for you will pay some black cards. And then you even get to see some of the strangest utterances coming from the black community. No, but why does he want so many billions? Is great in no. Ideas are priceless. If it's billions at that time, they must pay him billions. But they won't. They refuse to because they know the black community will accept that this man got cheated, and then they'll write stories about it later on when he's dead. Usman Bane wa inventa into ukuthi bamtshontshela, please call me a black child, you're on your own. Bakhona odanta amnyama la babhizi bathengela onondindwa amaveve laphana. Instead of coming together and saying, no, okay, this guy is one of ours, and look at what they're doing to him. Let's go and rally behind Makati. You have extremely intelligent black people who practice law and all kinds of things, who can say, my brother, we are coming in and we are taking this pro bono. As a community, we could come out and stand for that man in the system. But we don't, because we don't even understand that ideas cost money. And this manifests also in that space where our children, is Dablan. And the only thing in your mind is this child is going to become this doctor who's going to go and work. You are not prepared for anything. What if this child invents something in the medical profession? Then what? Take the guy who actually invented the heart transplant. Let me see if I can bring up his name here. There's a guy who invented the transplant. It is not Chris Barnard. Chris Barnard performed the surgery, the first successful surgery, they say. I hope it can come up, but I forget his name. This old man who actually, tested this thing by transplanting the heart of a pig, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to make a big search there. But yeah, you can look it up. I think it comes with Chris Barnard there. But there's a guy to transplant. Yes, they credit Chris Barnard for doing the first successful transplant. They'd like to do that, but it's fine. Hey, I'll go into it again some other time. But there's a black guy there who was working in Groote School, and he came up with the idea. So he tried out a pig's heart, and it worked for some time. So they developed this whole thing, Kuzan. To a point where they actually went and did the human to human transplant. Anyway, that's fine. But at your own leisure, you can. I think it is Hamilton Nack, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is. So he doesn't get the credit. He doesn't. It's not because he's black. It's because the black community has not developed a system to protect itself and its ideas. So anything in the black community is fit for the taking. Anyone can come from outside and take and leave and do it in front of other black people, and nobody does anything. A case in point is how they came and colonized. The first act of stealing they did on this continent was to steal our land, and even now they are still sitting in our land, and we have not learned lessons. We think we can still argue and argue and argue. We have not learned the lesson here, which we are dealing with thieves. And it's not even a matter of thieves. Even in your own home, when you're having an issue of thieves, you don't go around. You change your locks, you improve your security. Which means you reorganize, because you learned people are breaking into my house, they're stealing my TVs. Okay, right, so let's change something. Instead of sitting there and crying and waiting for the cops to solve the case, you change how you organize your house. Since they came in and colonized and stole all this land and minerals, have we changed anything? Have we reorganized? No. And this is why black ideas get stolen. Very easy. There's no consequence for it. Nothing is going to happen to you. If you take anything from these ones, nothing is going to happen. Even if you take their lives, nothing is going to happen to you. They have learned this. They have internalized it. Everybody has given each other the memo. Even the Chinese are coming here to do the same thing, because they have learned. There is no point in time in history where you have made it a reality. Should you touch these people, something is going to happen to you. No way. We can take resist, but did they win? No, they got defeated in the end. They gave up the fight. Now everyone is running in the streets there, and my black hats, and arguing, hyper intellectual, arguing nonsense. They came, they stole, and we did not do anything about it. So this is what we need to do as a people in the race. We need to reorganize. We really need to reorganize. The first thing that we need to do, we need to really recognize our nationhood. We as a people are Abantu, and we must rally behind that and devise our nationhood, organize our nationhood around our identity, collective. Let's not argue too much about all our differences here, because we spend too much time arguing about who's intelligent, who didn't go to school, who's churching this, who's churching that, who's this, who's that. Let us reorganize and say, we as Abantu, whether in Africa or in the diaspora, we are black. Let's be a black nation. And once we identify ourselves as a black nation, we need to pick out the things that are relevant and important to us. Let's have a list. What do we need to survive? And then the second thing is, when we identified all these things that we need to survive, we need to take control of them. That's where we now industrialize ourselves. Everybody has done this. You industrialize yourself to take control of your resources that you need to survive. If it's food, then we need to take control of the food. If it's money, then we need to take control of the money. We cannot continue to survive if these things depend on other people. The third thing that we need to do, we need to develop a security system. And fortunately, we have a lot of people who are black in every army in this continent, in every army in America, everywhere. And all those black people must take allegiance to their blackness. I'm not saying they must get out of those armies. No. Within those armies, their first allegiance must be to the black race. And we must create a security cluster, security system, security organization, clandestine or not. We must make a security system such that you don't have to tell anyone that if you go against black people, you are going to perish. They must know, if we touch those ones, death is coming for you. Physical death, not spiritual death, physical death. They must know what it's dangerous. Because we know about them. If you touch them, you know, chances are I'm going to get shot over there. Not very well. Chances are, if I say this about them, they're going to probably cancel me and stuff. I can't even use YouTube. They have made layers and layers of security for themselves. If you do this, yeah. If you say something snacks and in varsity, we're going to exclude you and ban you from this university and withdraw your degrees. I hope black people know that degrees can be withdrawn. But food. I grew up with listening to people. Hey, well, ufunda certificate. Yeah, certificate. Yeah, basqebule. Hey. You go there and be radical. When they come for you, they will remove that certificate of yours. When they really need to deal with you, they will remove your qualification there. We don't recognize this person in our institution. We are striking him off the roll. Because these things are clubs. They design these clubs, devise these clubs, and let you in these clubs. You didn't create your own clubs. So that's what I mean when I talk about securing our communities. It must be a thing that everybody knows that before you enter the black community, you must have your credentials in order. Mawuza kamkhize esigudini lapha mawazi ukuthi ke ungena nje ubani uqhamukaphi uzokwenzani. Because the thing is about it is you go into predominantly white communities or predominantly Indian communities, you going there, they will come to you. Oh yeah, so hey, ubani, what are you doing here in I saw this Bloemfontein, I think 2 years ago, to my friend's wedding. So I'm back, so I'm emshadweni, buya late emshadweni. Sahamba sibathathu. All tucked up and yeah. Then we made the error of going to the garage because I wanted the coffee. Sangen. And I'm looking at this AfriForum thing, vehicle coming. Okay. Oh, and then clicked because I already knew. Not okay. Oh, they saw blacks, so they are watching somewhere. Okay. And then they had this white girl and this black girl who came in, started talking to one of my friends. Oh, Papa, and I am like, hey, ain't that, stop talking to this person. Because we don't know them. So, but you know, he was not listening. He thought he was a cute girl, but cool man, that was so cool. I'm like, ah. But she had the questions. Where are you guys coming from? And he was telling her, no, we just came from wedding. I'm like, hey, girl, spuma I made it very easy for him. Like, I know, spuma shatwe. And we booked Konala at a BNB. That's where we're going now. You can go tell your people. Wapuma. That's the last resort. Mas sifike endlini sisaqoqa like, yeah, no, guys, didn't you see that AfriForum thing? Those two girls were sent there to come and check. And they were like, no, but like, yeah. Because we're in a predominantly Afrikaner neighborhood. That's why we had an Airbnb there. I met one by my other friend. So the three of us were sleeping there. So yeah, but if you go to a black community, you don't have to go through all of those things. And they lie to you, telling you, no, black people are so welcoming, they are so friendly. No, that's not what they are saying. They are literally telling you that you are so naive, that you allow strangers to come in and out of a community without detection. Even in the apartheid, operatives, nets will come in and murder people, and nobody know who did the murdering. Aphume bahambe. Nobody came out of their house kuzoshisa whatever car they were driving to. No, kushisa amanets akade ezobulala umuntu la. So that's the third thing we need to do. We need to secure our communities. And the funny part is, most of you security futhi okunye nje. Security nifundele nigcwele kuwe yonke security cluster namaphoyisa yini yonke into. It's difficult, God, to have an SOS group election. You know, I see that they are trying. I understand they are trying a forum, but it's something that should have been done long time ago. And the thing about it is, we're not even funding the forum solution, right? Or we don't have people who are experts front and center. You know, because you go to a forum solution, we are about, okay, how many of these forums are being pushed by ex-military, ex-police people, owners of security companies, you know. Unlike in white neighborhoods, you get into an SOS group, ex-ban, brigadiers ban, they are very serious about it. If something happens at your house, they come there, instantly. Forum yasolokishini igade abantu abahamba emgaqweni ayinazo ngisho imoto. So we are not even funding that thing. We're not even funding that thing. But for no 50 rand, no, uzuma olete complain, no. Bang. If everyone mad and stop complaining and have these kids who are trying to take care of the community, go get them training, get someone who's experienced in that cluster to, take charge of them and monitor them. But only more to do the community work. Then we can start having a situation where we can't have people coming into our community doing stupid things. Now, following that logic, it makes it easy then to conceptualize the idea of protecting our genius. People can come in and take our ideas because we have a nation. So that idea belongs to a certain group. They know it belongs to a certain group. And in this nation, we have industry. That idea is going to be applied in our industry, and it's going to be part of our industry. It's going to be a intellectual property of our industry. They would know. And 3, if they had to steal it, they know there will be repercussions. Hence, we have security. So if we take care of these 3 things, then we get away from the thing of always complaining when people are stealing our stuff, and they don't even mention us. They don't give us credit. We're always crying for credit for this, crying for credit for that. Go find because they take our things to go and apply in their own industry. If any of those ideas that we had were working for our own industry, we wouldn't be having this topic. We wouldn't be having this discussion. We would not be going through this notion of who's giving credit, who's not giving credit. So that's why it's so vital then to develop black industry. It's very vital. Develop black industry so that black genius can have a place to express itself. If Skanda mafem ethu, then ingane zethu esihlakaniphile can come in and improve our processes and invent things that are going to benefit us and end up benefiting themselves. Versus having all these intelligent children go and work for GSK, go and work for this one, go and so they are busy innovating in the firms of other people. That's why what's his name? Umakati didn't had to find himself in that position because he was working for a company of Vodacom, and he was innovating Vodacom, an industry that does not belong to black people. Well, sure, it's owned 50% by the black government, but that's not the point. So it's not that we as people. We are very intelligent people. We possess all the capacity and ability to do things. We have been inventing. We are still going to invent. We are innovative. We'll continue to innovate. But what we have skipped our steps. We skipped the step of nationhood. We skipped the step of industrialization. We skipped the step of security. So I would say, if black people have any ideas at this point in time, maybe keep those ideas to yourself for now until we figure this out. Because until we figure this mess of organizing ourselves, chances are bazoyithatha into yakho bayisebenzisele bona. Or they'll do one better. They'll take your idea and claim it doesn't work. Bakulinda ushone, bayithathe, bayi-apply. Siqhamukise sikhamba ngabo. Injalo nje. You hear something about cesarean section. Hey, cesarean section was developed by Usbanban or Usbanbane. If cesarean section was invented by black people, did they pass it on? Because there's another problem is now a kind of ukuthi we don't identify ourselves as a nation. We are so quick to go and teach other people izinto ezingabafuni. Okwethu asigcini for thina. Sifuna ukufundisa wonke umuntu. Angazi ukubani wasiqasha wathi sothisha bezizwe, I don't know. But where did it get us? Mina iyangixa nje lento yabantu abanyama ukuthanda ukuhamba befundisa yonke imkhufefela. I don't get it. Silunywa yini lengake bani uthi sizoshona uma singabafundisanga imfihlo zethu. But then again, that's a story for another time, because it wants us to talk about how much you love to impress that other race. I niyabathanda phela labana. Hey, ayinibathandi. Obrakoti beni laba. Nibathanda ngami. And you get aggravated and angry. But how can a king say, let's deal with these people decisively? Hayibo. Hey, sithandwa zethu ngeke sibathinta belungu Nkosi yami. Siyabathanda futhi nje. Shame. Bekuyilokho nje bengifuna ukukhuluma ngegenius yabantu ukuthi we need to create a space, an environment, a secure environment for our genius to express itself, for ourselves, before we think about everybody else. Because another problem is now we are making our children scratch their heads and break their minds trying to solve the world's problems that we didn't create. We didn't create all of these problems that now we are so obsessed with solving. You know, we didn't create pollution of the earth, we didn't create all of these things. So now, even if we were to innovate, it will be best that we innovate secretly inside our own communities. Sibancishe ulwazi. Sifunda ukuncisha abantu ulwazi. That's why, intellectual property is so important. So I guess maybe one of the facets of securing this thing would be to create a patent office that is separate from Layer Lab. And then create a system of legalities around it that is very, strict, in a way. Because we can't, like I keep saying, we can't continue to have a situation where messing with our people doesn't carry a risk. It can't continue. Every animal on this planet has a risk involved if you deal with it. Even ulamthuthu, if you take ulamthuthu, ufuna ukwenza isitshulu laphana, the risk of you dealing with that ulamthuthu is that you probably get salmonella. It can kill you, the chicken. Anything on this planet can kill you if it wants. So you have to develop a way of approaching it. But when it comes to black people, you can do whatever you want. Just there's no risk there. I got risk. Afika laphana, ngabona Phoenix lezinto ilentenzo Phoenix laphana manje, okay. Those Indians decided they can just kill people without asking themselves, what if they have families? Because to them, they know, even if they do have families, so what? they are not organized enough to come and deal with us. Because for us to deal with people, you probably need to have money and clout and whatnot ukuze uzokwazi uku-afforda ukuthenga abantu ukuthi bayolungisa inkinga. Problem. But ke ukuba kuyangami ngaba siyenzi leyo nto ngabe sithi lezi iy'nkabi lezi esigcwele la umsebenzi wazo wokuqala ukudila nabantu abasihluphayo without us having to go and and hire them. Uma befuna ukubusiseka kule nto yabo abayenzayo, they would say go and deal with those people abahlupha abantu abamnyama. Uma kukhona umuntu omnyama obulewa yabo nje laba bathatha abafazi babafaka babafida iy'ngulube, kumele ngabe abasekho emhlabeni. Basaphilelana abantu abathatha abantu babadlisa iy'ngulube. Lapha emajele la baboshwe khona, lezi y'boshwe lapha zihleli kanjani abantu abenza into kanjani? Why are they not dealing with them? Kanti ithini lento yokuba umuntu omnyama? You see, that's what I mean, the sense of nationhood. Bayakwazi kodwa ukuthi badile nawe wena because you decided to deal with one of their gang members lana i-26 bazoboshiwe ngaphakathi nawe uyashona because ulokhu uze i-26 or umngani wabo or what have you. They make you perish. But hleli nabantu lapho ikhohlakali ezithatha abafazi abantu abamnyama bababulale babafida ingulube. Basaphila abasadla inhlamba lawo bantu. That's me. Ukuba bekuya ngami, I would say let's have that kind of thing going because lento lokhu uzama ukumasajana nalabantu is not going to get us anywhere. Uthi ngawuthi ngithule ngaze YouTube angixoshe nami la. Anyway, ibe nobusuku obuhle Mithaba. Uthanda ukuthula nenjabulo nokubonga. Kube njalo kini ngaso sonke isikhathi. And the thing about it is being peaceful and loving does not necessarily mean that you must permit evil to permeate and persist. Iyo lento le esixabanisayo nabantu abathi bayakholwa. Lolu kholo lolu oluthi niyekele ukukhohlakala qhubeka emhlabeni. Yibona kubusilethele bonke inkohlakalo esikhona. Ububi buchumiswa abantu abamnyama abasonga izandla bengafuna ukulwa nobubi. That is the only way. Ingakho ngithi they can come in and do anything to us because they know there's not going to be any repercussions. This is why they experiment on our people. If they want to test a vaccine, they use black people. If they want to do this, they use black people everywhere. And they use black people to do that. They know. Even manje mangasobheka how many trials of untested drugs are running in this country, in this continent. They are running on black bodies. You would be shocked. And then you compare it to clinical trials running maybe in the UK or in the US or one or two. It's a guinea pigs. But it's easy to do that because it doesn't carry a risk. Asikho famous for ukubhonya abantu. Akekho umuntu oseke samshaya nje la samnabisa wangaphila. So they can come to us anyhow because they know ukuthi ayikho induku lapha. Yeah. Anyway.